Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that one woman who barely posts anything online? No selfies, no stories, no constant updates, yet somehow everyone is curious about her. She walks into a room and people whisper, "Who is she?" Because in a world where everyone is shouting for attention, the quiet ones become the most mysterious. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of women who don't post on social media and why their silence says more than 1,000 captions ever could. We live in a digital era where people measure self-worth by likes, comments, and followers. But there's a growing number of women who've quietly stepped away from that game. They're not antisocial. They're selectively visible. And behind that decision lies powerful psychology, confidence, emotional intelligence, boundaries, and something much deeper. In this video, I'm breaking down the 7 psychological traits of women who stay off social media and how you can apply those same traits to build real-world magnetism and mystery. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's get into it. 1. They don't seek validation. They already have it. Here's the truth. Most people post online because they crave recognition. Every like, comment, and share gives a tiny dopamine rush, a hit of validation that says, "I'm seen. I matter." But women who don't post, they've learned to give that validation to themselves. It's not arrogance, it's self-certainty. They don't need external applause to feel valuable because their worth isn't up for public opinion. Think about it. You'll never see them posting 50 selfies just to prove they're beautiful. They already know they are, and that quiet confidence makes them even more magnetic. Psychologically, this is called internal validation. It means their sense of identity and happiness comes from within, from their values, their goals, and their sense of purpose, not from how others perceive them. Imagine, you might have a friend who's stunning, kind, and accomplished, but her Instagram has 2 posts from 3 years ago, and yet every time you see her, she radiates this calm confidence. That's what happens when someone's self-worth isn't for sale. Try this. Before you post something online, ask yourself, would I still feel good about this if no one liked or commented? If the answer is yes, that's genuine self-assurance. 2. They value privacy over performance. Let's be real. Social media is like a stage. Everyone's performing, editing, and presenting their highlight reel while hiding the chaos behind the curtain. But women who don't post, they've decided they don't need an audience to validate their story. They value privacy, not because they're hiding, but because they protect their peace. They understand that mystery creates respect. When people can't predict your every move, they become curious. According to social psychology, selective self-disclosure, sharing less about yourself, actually increases others' perception of competence and intrigue. In other words, when you reveal less, people assume more. Relatable example. Think of that coworker who never talks about her personal life. No one knows if she's dating, traveling, or planning world domination. And because she doesn't overshare, everyone wants to know more. That's the paradox of privacy. The less you reveal, the more powerful your presence becomes. Don't rush to post every moment. Let some experiences belong only to you. Because when you keep certain parts of your life private, you're not being secretive. You're being sovereign. 3. They live in the moment, not for the camera. Ever notice how some people can't even enjoy a sunset without turning it into a story post? It's like the experience isn't real until it's online. But women who don't post live differently. They're present. They don't need a filter to remember how something made them feel. Their dopamine doesn't come from views. It comes from moments, from laughter that isn't recorded, from dinners where the phones stay face down, from real connections, not curated ones. Studies show that constant documentation, taking photos or videos for social media, actually reduces emotional engagement with the experience. Your brain switches from feeling to capturing. So women who stay offline often feel more alive because they're not watching life through a screen, they're living it. Relatable example. Ever gone out with a friend who's always filming? By the end of the night, you've got no memories, just videos you'll never rewatch. That's why women who don't post come home with real stories, not just footage. Next time something amazing happens, resist the urge to record. Just be there. Sometimes the most beautiful memories aren't meant to be shared, they're meant to be felt. I'm curious, do you know someone who never posts on social media but still has this mysterious magnetic vibe? Or maybe you're that person? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. 4. They control their energy. Not everyone deserves access. Here's something most people never think about. Every post, every photo, every story is a form of energy exchange. You're giving people access to your life, your emotions, your vibe, but women who don't post, they understand that energy is currency, and not everyone deserves to spend it. Psychologically, this comes from a strong sense of emotional boundaries. They're selective about who gets their time, their attention, and even their opinions, because they know that when too many people have access to your world, you start to lose control of it. Imagine a woman named Sarah. She used to share everything, her workouts, her relationship, her bad days. People knew every detail of her life. But one day she realized the more she shared, the more opinions she attracted. Suddenly, everyone had something to say. She's changed. Is she still with him? She looks different. So she pulled back. No announcement, no explanation, just silence. And that's when something powerful happened. She found peace. She stopped performing and started living. When you stop oversharing, you reclaim emotional autonomy, your mood, your choices, your happiness. Stop being shaped by the reactions of others. Audit your digital boundaries. Ask yourself, who really deserves access to my energy? If someone wouldn't call you to check in during hard times, they don't need front row seats to your life. 5. They build real confidence through self-mastery. There's a subtle truth about women who aren't glued to social media. They often spend that time mastering themselves. While others are scrolling, comparing, and posting, these women are learning, reading, building, or healing. They understand that real confidence doesn't come from visibility, it comes from progress. This is rooted in something called competence confidence. It's the type of confidence that grows when you build skill, discipline, and self-trust. When you keep small promises to yourself, like showing up, staying consistent, and working on your goals, you start to radiate quiet power that no filter can replicate. You might notice that woman who rarely posts, but when you do see her, she's glowing differently. Not because of a new outfit or filter, but because she's been doing the work. That's what growth looks like in silence. Instead of posting your progress, live it. Focus on what you're building behind the scenes. Because when your results start to speak, you won't need to. 6. They're emotionally independent. Now, this one's big. Women who don't post on social media often display a rare kind of emotional independence. They don't rely on external attention to feel validated. They're not waiting for someone to notice them. They've already noticed themselves. Social media can create a dependency loop. We post, get validation, feel good, need to post again to feel that same way. It's a psychological trap. But women who step away break that loop. Their self-worth becomes stable, not conditional. Example, ever see someone disappear from social media for months only to come back calm, confident, and centered? That's the effect of emotional independence. It's the peace that comes when you stop performing for attention. Take what psychologists call a digital detox window. Even just one weekend offline can help your nervous system reset. You'll start to notice how quiet your mind feels when it's not constantly waiting for feedback. 7. Their mystery creates magnetic attraction. Here's the secret most people miss. In a world obsessed with visibility, mystery is magnetic. The less you reveal, the more people imagine. And the human brain is wired to be fascinated by what it doesn't fully understand. This is why women who don't post often attract genuine curiosity. They don't overshare, they don't chase, and that makes them stand out. Because mystery is not about being unavailable, it's about being intentional. When you master that, people don't just want to follow you, they want to know you. So I want to know, do you think mystery is more attractive than visibility? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them. If you found this video insightful, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you're someone who's learning to value peace over posting, you belong here. Hit subscribe and join our growing community of deep thinkers. Because in the next video, we're talking about something powerful: why the most confident women are the quietest in the room, and how you can be one. You don't want to miss that. Until then, remember, you don't need to post to prove your worth. Your silence already speaks volumes.